bullying.
Is the Sims community toxic?
Harassment.
The Sims community is particularly toxic.
Death threats.
Extraordinarily toxic.
Manipulation.
Seeing everyone being so like rage-filled.
Cancellations.
They call me a racist, they call me sexist, they call me homophobic.
They accuse me of being alt-right.
The Sims community really is insufferable.
No other game created by EA has this much chaotic arguing within their fan base.
A cute little cozy life simulation game might just have the most toxic player base in all of gaming. But why? And who's the source of all this toxicity?
Wasn't me.
Just kidding, we all know it's the Sims 4 players. First of all, the word toxic gets thrown around a lot. It's such a loaded word, and in the Sims 4 community, they love using words like toxic anytime they hear someone say something they don't like. That being said, there are definitely some cases where I feel like the Sims community does indeed take things too far. Just last month, a Sims 4 modder said he was told to off himself because he released a mod, and shortly before that, a different modder received hateful messages for not releasing a mod. You just can't win with these people. While preparing for this video, I found several instances in recent months where Sims players reported being bullied, and even one case where a player reported that her Sims aesthetic had been stolen. Oh my god, not aesthetic theft. It's rare for a week to go by without some kind of drama in the Sims community. To help us get to the bottom of all this, I'd like to take a look at Fake Gamer Girl's recent video where she talks about the quote, toxic Sims community and what led to her being labeled a hater by Sims 4 players.
I feel like Sims YouTube right now just feels extraordinarily toxic. When I released the Life and Death pack review a couple of weeks ago, I got a lot of harassment because I didn't like the pack.
She says she gave the latest Sims 4 expansion pack a lukewarm review, which made a lot of people unhappy because she wasn't praising it. I know something about that.
And then the other half of people were calling me a hater and that I should play something else because I obviously hate The Sims 4 because I didn't like the pack that they liked.
This is a recurring theme in the Sims community. If you don't love something and give it effusive praise, you get called a hater. You get called toxic. You're shamed and told you're ruining the game for everyone if you say anything critical about it. Is that not toxic in itself? What is more toxic? Simply having an opinion and talking about why you dislike or disagree with something? Or telling someone that they can't talk about why they dislike or disagree with something and then calling them toxic when they give their opinion? Because why do I feel like there's always a Sims 4 player lurking in the corner, waiting to jump out and yell, "You're a toxic hater," anytime someone says something critical about the game? Sweetheart, that's the pot calling the kettle black.
Tutti quanti siamo gay. Tutti.
Now, I'm not trying to minimize what happened to Fake Gamer Girl, but this is just the tip of the iceberg.
Some of y'all about to be real mad at me, but it must be said.
I don't know if there's anyone in the Sims community that's on the receiving end of more hate than this next creator.
Level the nerd.
Okay.
My bad, that was...
What was that?
I clicked the wrong file.
James?
1 second.
Today, I'm triggering all of the chronically online simmers.
When it comes to toxicity in the Sims community, I don't think there's anyone who's more qualified to speak on the subject than Satch on Sims.
The amount of times I've been personally attacked since I became a Sims creator is ridiculous.
Because according to him, he's noticed this pattern where Sims 4 players will resort to personal attacks anytime he gives valid criticism of the game.
This is definitely something that the Sims community is absolutely terrible for, making personal attacks over a fucking video game.
I don't know if anyone ever saw this or remembers this, but a couple years ago, there was actually an entire Reddit post that someone made about Satch on Sims, and it had hundreds of hate comments with people saying the most vile shit. And this wasn't a one-off situation. I see so much hateful stuff about this guy, and no one else in the Sims community, no other Sims influencer has ever been subjected to that level of vile hate. hate. Again, I mean in the Sims community. When I saw that Reddit post a few years ago, I wish I had screenshots, but it was deleted. But the funny thing was, the person who originally made that post created it because they said they were worried about Satchon Sim's mental health after he gave a bad review of a Sims 4 DLC.
You better be joking.
Some people in this community even go so far as to make up lies to try to cancel or disparage people who dislike the game.
I have been labeled transphobic is the number one thing, which is so funny to me. Like, if you knew me in real life, like my real life friends know, like I'm such a trans ally. I've told you before, like I'm a massive supporter of trans rights, which is just so funny. They call me a racist, they call me sexist, they call me homophobic.
Surprise, surprise, the exact same shit has happened to me. I too have been called every label under the sun. And I actually talked about this in an old video, but one time in a 24-hour period, I was called transphobic, a bully, white trash, a conservative who hates gays, an annoying see you next Tuesday, a washed up twink, and that I'm somehow hurting neurodivergent players. What the actual fuck? People have accused me of being alt-right and anti-woke.
Okay.
People were posting pictures of me next to Trump. What the fuck? I had people going to my YouTube channel because they saw these weird ass things being said about me online, and I was getting comments like, I can't believe you're anti-trans. What the fuck? I had to release a statement like I was Madonna or some shit, being like, what in the hell is wrong with you guys? I've never in my life talked about my political or social or personal views on this channel. And just because I know there's going to be someone in the comments like, well, what did you do to make them say that?
Absolutely nothing.
Literally nothing. This is actually sick behavior. You cannot make up lies about people just because you don't like their opinions about a video game, bruh. Do you know how crazy this makes you look?
I would like to rear up and jackknife my legs and kick you both in the fucking jaw with my foot bone.
Anyway, when it comes to Satchon Sims, like I said, I'm not defending him or anything he's ever said in the past, but can we at least agree that these witch hunts, this mob mentality bullshit, the constant throwing out labels, it needs to stop. And quite frankly, it minimizes real instances of people who like actually do messed up shit. Let's all join hands and touch some fucking grass.
We don't say that, but now we said it.
Anyway, it's the way Sims 4 players react to valid criticism of the game that says more about them than it does anyone else. In this video, Satch also makes a great point about Sims 4 players who make the Sims their entire personality.
When you criticize something even small, they feel like you're personally attacking them. They feel like you are attacking their way of life, their world, and it makes them feel territorial. This is why I would say the Sims community, I think, is more toxic than others. That's my plausible explanation.
While I understand it can be hard hearing something negative about a thing you love, I would argue that trying to stifle critical opinions and crying out, "You're toxic," like a lot of these players do, is in fact one of the most toxic things you can do. How the turntables, Sims 4 players, how the turntables. If it's not already obvious, it seems like the people who are actually the most toxic in this community are the hardcore Sims 4 players. And this makes sense, because in every gaming community, it's the hardcore fanboys so averse to hearing critical opinions who scoff at the idea that the game they love and cherish might actually have real flaws. The truth might hurt, but it doesn't mean it's toxic. When it comes to The Sims 4, it often feels like you can't say anything critical about the game without someone else having a problem with it. And it really begs the question, why is this community so averse to critical discourse? I think it's a combination of things. First, The Sims has no competitors. There aren't enough options to satisfy everyone's wants and needs and desires for a life simulation game. Secondly, it's incredibly expensive, and thus, players have become super invested in it, especially now, 10 years later, over $1,200 deep. And lastly, the demographics of the players are so diverse. We have people of all ages, we have long-term Sims players, we have people who are new to the game, who have only played The Sims 4, we have PC players, we have console players, there are hardcore stans and casual fans.
As we approach this milestone, the Sims community is more passionate and engaged than ever before.
But beyond the why, I think there are real consequences to this toxic positivity fanboyism. There is a reason that the Sims franchise is dying. Because this game is in desperate need of honest, unfiltered feedback. And I think this community, including some Sims developers and influencers, have a certain unwillingness to foster any opinions that they deem to be, quote, too negative and toxic, which plays a role in the game's demise. A few years ago, a Sims guru posted the following message on Twitter, and part of it read, "One thing the Sims community loves to be is vocal about their feedback." Now, we can argue about whether that first line is shade or not. To me, it comes across like they're saying you guys complain too much, but thank God people are vocal with their feedback. As a business, if your product is shit, you need to know. If your product is amazing, you need to know. You have to know what you're doing right and what you're doing wrong. And too many times in the past, we've seen Sims developers brush off criticism or react straight up hostile to criticism. A few videos back, I talked about a Sims developer who literally deactivated his Twitter account because he was getting so much negative feedback. And how did he respond to all this backlash? Instead of owning up to it and apologizing, he deactivated his account. Sorry, but that's not professional. You should be receptive to feedback regardless of what form it takes. I'm not saying hate is okay. Hate is not feedback. But even if it's too critical or negative for you, it might still be valuable for the game. And that should be their priority. But the sad truth is there is still a special group of Sims 4 players who will brush off these comments as toxic. Imagine where the Sims 4 would be today without those, quote, toxic players.
I'm Rachel Franklin, and I'm excited to introduce you to the next generation of The Sims.
Imagine it's 2014, The Sims 4 has been released, and there's no family tree, no toddlers, no pools. There's no ghosts, no open world, and no cars. Where's the color wheel? Where are the firefighters? No story progression, no basements, no world editor, no babysitters, no burglars, no dishwashers.